The first thing I'd say to any new dentist is congratulations. I think you are on your way to a very, very fulfilling career. I mean, I just love dentistry. I think, one thing that they need to keep in mind is that their first job is kind of like their childhood. I mean, that's where your career, I think, or at least my career, was formed the most. It wasn't in dental school. It was those first couple years of practice. So, think about, going to a place where you're going to be able to learn, where you're going to be able to do dentistry or learn to do dentistry the way you'd really like to. That's even more important than the money, although there's plenty of places you can do both. The other thing that I would, tell young dentists is, sometimes you get that degree and you just get out of dental school and you don't know what you don't know. And to be very, very coachable, looking for mentors, looking for continuing education, looking to find new ways to do things and to relate to patients and to manage your practice. And then the final thing is just to empower the people around you, empower your teammates. You're only as good as the people that are working with you.
For young dentists who are just graduating from school, I think it's important to look for a group or a practice who's always learning. So some people who want to keep continuing their education, because with dentistry things are always changing, and especially now as things become more digital, you want to find a group who's willing to keep up with all of that.
There's many differences, I'd say, from textbook dentistry to kind of real-world dentistry, but a piece of advice that I would definitely give to new grads is throughout any interviews, go on multiple interviews for comparison, because there's so many variations in types of practices, and many different types of practice can be successful by all means. But you have to have that trust in who you're working with. I guess it's a little bit different if you're starting up your own practice, but I think that's kind of a challenge in its own, starting out as a new grad and starting a whole new practice from scratch. But if you're taking over a practice or you're joining a group practice, those other doctors and or partners maybe in the future, you have to absolutely have trust and open communication, because otherwise it's not going to be a good situation. You may end up leaving and kind of jumping around to different jobs. So that's a huge thing right off the bat, is being comfortable and trusting who you're working with.
You never know who's going to know who, or who will know what. I mean, so many of our doctors that we have in this larger group that I'm a part of, we kind of know through each other. I mean, there's a number of us that went to school together, or a patient here, their nephew is a dentist. So having relationships with people, whether they're family members or just the community, staying involved with the community, you don't know where it's going to lead you at some point. So being able to keep that support system somehow is important for not only your everyday kind of getting your job opportunity, but also eventually for the community that you are serving as a dentist too.